What's up? It's Ben with Firearms. We have Nick behind the camera again. And today, we're just going to go over some basic firearm safety stuff. Before we get into that, though, I just want to clarify that this is a 100% a learning venture for us. I mean, we're just two big dudes that love firearms and kind of just taking you guys on our journey with us. You know, so as the page grows, if it does grow, if we get more people involved who maybe know a little bit more about firearms, we're more than willing to learn. Everybody's allowed to be wrong sometimes, so I just want to get that out of the way. You know, I don't want to make it seem like we're the world's foremost expert on firearms here. So, all right, let's get into it. Excuse me. First, we're gonna start with the AR-15. Now, all of these weapons are clear, unloaded. So, the number one thing that I see the most is a lack of trigger discipline. So, to me, it seems like a pretty basic construct of you grab a hold of a weapon and you don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot something. Keep your booger hook off the bang switch until you're ready to shoot. Now, particularly with the AR, it's designed like this for a reason. I mean, you keep your finger off the trigger. If I knew how to reload, apparently. And you're good to go, you know, and then slap the bolt back home, and you're ready to rock. It's simple, guys. It's really simple here. However, we get into older firearms, like here we have a Lee Enfield. This one's a little tricky, only because you put the weapon in a battery, the bolt kind of hangs out, but you can still kind of ride the trigger guard there. Now, that being said, if you look real closely in here, the mag release is inside of the trigger guard. So that's just something to be conscious of if you're using an older firearm. Sometimes they're built with little quirks like that. You know, the big takeaway is just trigger discipline. We'll cover other stuff in a little bit here. Now, one thing I do want to cover, though, is every weapon system is a little bit different in where the safety is located. So this is an SKS. Right above the trigger guard here, slap that down, your safety's off. Push it back up, your safety's on. They are 15. It's on the side there. And the shotgun, just your simple push button. Now, one thing I want to talk about is some of the basic stuff that we learned in hunter safety. And if you're going to be showing anybody how to use firearms, you should be teaching them this stuff as well. So the big one, don't point the end of the muzzle at somebody unless you plan to shoot. So, a lot of times you go to the range, you see people just flailing their muzzle around everywhere. It's not a good thing. Know your target and what's beyond. And, what was the other one, Nick? We talked about it before we started shooting. The video, I mean.
If your weapon's loaded and you're flailing it around, you know, it's dangerous for everybody.
Right. So, I mean, you have the danger for everybody, and then that reminds me, too, always treat a firearm as if it's loaded. I don't care if you know for sure it's unloaded, treat it like it is. That's how we prevent dangerous situations, and that's how we prevent gun grabbers from trying to steal or take away our gun rights. Now, one thing I want to talk about too is sometimes you'll get even quirkier firearms like this little guy here. This is a Derringer chambered in .32 auto. So it's tricky because there is no trigger guard. And you can't even get a good purchase on it. It's just, I don't know, it's one of those quirky guns. Some people carry them because it's all they have, and I know they used to be carried by like prostitutes and stuff because they could just tuck them in their leg bands, garters, whatever they're called. And yeah, so trigger discipline here is a little bit tricky. Just kind of ride the barrel, make sure your finger doesn't go in front of it like that. But that's all there is to that one. Now I want to cover holsters. First, clear my weapon. Weapon's clear. Alright, the weapon is holstered. You're going to get a good purchase on the weapon, and you can feel the index there. Most holsters will have this, especially if it's Kydex. So you get a good purchase on the weapon. Draw out, finger off the trigger. Oop, I missed. Alright. Now, there's been problems with like the Blackhawk holsters and stuff, and I really don't understand that because it's just simple trigger discipline. That's all it is. But that's really all I got for you today. Nick, can you think of anything else to cover here? Alright, well, we'll see you next time.